So right behind me is the Cutty Sark ship. It's a very, it's an average sized ship really, but this is just to, now we're just going to talk about the common and lower class sailors and their lifestyles. And it was really a mixed experience for these London sailors. As, you know, it gradually got better over time in the 17th, 18th, 19th century, but to be honest, it really started in poor conditions. So I'll tell you a little bit about the progression. First, I'm going to talk about the accommodations that sailors had. I'll go into the food they received, the sanitary on the ships or lack thereof, the diseases that were prevalent, also women and the potential problem that they caused on the ship, and actually finally talk about a little bit about their payment and how much they received or didn't receive. So first, let's talk about accommodations. Like I said, very modest. Room was of essence. They didn't really, was a necessity, but they didn't really have that much. All reports said they had around 14 to 16 inches in between each hammock. Sailors would normally get 2 hammocks because, as you can imagine, it would get dirty pretty quickly, so they'd have to try and wash it out as quickly as possible. And what even cluttered the space even more is women. And it was very interesting learning how much women were a role. Sometimes sailors, if they were on good behavior, they had their wives were able to accompany them on the journey, but more often than not, they didn't. Most of the women accompanied actually prostitutes, and there were some foul reports. Really, some women would just be there for one purpose and one purpose only, and you could kind of do the math. And like as we were talking about earlier about accommodation, everything would be in plain sight, so they can't really hide anything. So whatever's happening, everyone's seeing it. So there's that. And let's talk about diseases a little bit. Back then, scurvy was a huge disease and a huge problem, and it was due to, obviously we know scurvy is due to lack to vitamin C. They didn't have that many fruit and vegetables in their diet. And going off that, in their diet, they really just had basic necessities. They actually did get a lot of food over a week. In a week's span, they got 7 pounds of bread, 7 gallons of gear, 4 pounds of beef, 2 pounds of pork, 2 pounds of peas, 3 pints of oatmeal, 6 ounces of butter, 12 ounces of cheese, 6 ounces of sugar, and get this, a half pint of rum. Now, what you do with a half a pint of rum in a week, I think that's a day, actually. The half a pint of rum is every day. What you do with that, that's beyond me. So as you said, that's actually a lot of food, but what you see missing in here is vegetables and fruit. So a lot of diseases were very prevalent on ships such as this one, and so that happened. And let's talk about, we're going to talk a little about behavior of people on ships. You know, sometimes they would get punished if they were acting out of line. And there were two of the greatest sins that you could have on a ship such as this one for London sailors in the common class was desertion. What I mean by desertion is they would simply not follow orders or just kind of hide under their beds or whatever during the ship. And the second one was mutiny. You know, obviously if you try to start a mutiny, then that is a problem. Anyway, finally, I'm going to talk a little about the payments. Payment, it was actually very poor. It improved over time. After a mutiny, actually, that actually improved it in 1797. But really, they received 33 shillings a week. Able sailman, an ordinary sailman received 25 shillings a week. This rate went up in 1844, but as you see, on a ship such as this one, common sailors are really living a modest lifestyle. And as we go forward, we're going to have a little commercial from our sponsors.